யாரு ஃபோனு? ஃபோன் யாரு?
Sir, good evening, sir. Jalil, sir, good evening. Lakshmi.
குட் ஈவினிங்.
Sudhakar
குட்
sir,
ஈவினிங்.
good evening. So you're here.
இப்பதான்
Shall
இப்பதான்
we
உங்க
wait for a couple of
செக்ரட்டரிட்ட உங்களை
minutes?
பத்தி சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தேன்.
என்ன சார்?
ரொம்ப அருமையான நல்ல அருமையான ஒரு டீம். காட் இஸ்
Thank you,
கிரேட்.
sir.
நல்லா பண்ணுங்க.
Thank you, sir.
எனக்கு
Lakshmi is our pillar. And of course, all
ரொம்ப
our
ரொம்ப
EB members,
அவங்க
all our EB members also. Everybody is
அப்படி ஒரு
doing their
அப்படி
role
ஒரு
in the best
செக்ரட்டரி
way.
அப்படி ஒரு செக்ரட்டரி இருந்தாதான் பிரசிடென்ட் வில் ஷைன்.
Yes, sir.
Jalil sir, you're too kind.
Yes,
Sudhakar sir is such a supportive mentor.
no,
And
I was with Sudhakar in 2024 EB-ல. Very
Yes,
quiet,
sir.
calm. ரொம்ப ஒரு இன்னோவேட்டிவ் ஐடியாஸ் தான் வரும். நம்மெல்லாம் எதிர்பார்க்காத ஒரு ஐடியாஸ் கொடுப்பாரு அவர்.
absolutely true.
Thank you, sir.
நம்மெல்லாம்
Thank you.
நமக்கு மேல நம்ம நினைச்சிட்டு இருப்போம். அதை விட ஒரு பியாண்ட் அவர் தாட் ஹி வில் டெல். கரெக்டா இருக்கும், அது பெஸ்டா இருக்கும்.
Thank you, sir.
That is
Thank you,
what
sir.
my observation about Sudhakar.
So shall we wait for a couple of minutes for people to join? I think
Yeah.
எல்லாரும் in transit. Everybody is in transit, I think,
Okay.
from work.
I'm also on transit. கார்ல தான் இருக்கிறேன். I'll do one thing. And if I start crossing Kodambakam Bridge, it may take another 3 minutes to settle. That's why I'm waiting.
ஸ்கூல்ல போய் பிக்கப் பண்ணிட்டு வர்றீங்களா?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My daughter pick up பண்ணிட்டு வரேன், sir.
You let me know, sir, when to start because our stream is on.
Yeah.
We can start anytime. Now people are slowly joining.
Yeah, we'll wait for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
For another 3 minutes, we will start. Whoever comes or not, 4, 5, we will start. Oh, speaker has come, no?
Yes, she's
I'm
here,
here.
sir. Soundarya is
Yeah,
here.
welcome, Ms. Soundarya, madam.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, madam.
Hi, doctor.
Thank you for accepting our invite.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank
First time we are coming out with a different approach of bringing a fitness coach into our scientific program.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'm really honored to be the first one here.
Yeah. So far, we only talk about among ourselves.
Mm,
So we thought the thing is it's move to improve, no?
true,
The
true.
theme itself move to improve against.
Understood.
The movie, we want a fitness coach to come and
Okay,
teach us how
lovely.
to move.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
looking forward to this.
Lakshmi, shall we start?
Yes, sir. I think we'll start it, sir.
Yeah. Let us not wait.
Let's start. Yeah. Our stream is live, so I think we can start off.
Yeah, people will be watching the.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
good
they
evening.
feel very comfortable in the streaming actually through the
Yes.
YouTube.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, most of the time the numbers are more in the YouTube than the direct.
Actual Zoom link. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll start, sir.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this very special World Obesity Day webinar. Now, this is a first of a kind interactive discussion that Team IAP CCB 2026 has come up with, thanks to the mentorship of our President, Dr. Sudhakar. So, as we all know, childhood obesity is the most significant health challenges we face today. And according to recent estimates, over 39 million children under 5 years of age are either overweight or obese. So in India as well, the numbers continue to rise, and recent estimates suggest that 8 to 10% of school-aged children are obese in urban areas especially. Now, as pediatricians, we are very good when we deal with the endocrine obesity, the diagnostics, the therapeutics, and of course, the 4 tiers of obesity management. We know about universal prevention at population level, the tier 2 with the lifestyle weight management services, the primary care measures, tier 3 specialized weight management services with a specialist, and tier 4 bariatric surgery and specialized services. So we know about all this, but in the real world, what is happening? How good are we when it comes to counseling about exercise, physical activity? It's very easy to just simply say, improve physical activity, put your child in a sport, but are we giving structured advice? So to bridge that gap today, we have with us Soundarya. She has extensive experience working with children and families to build sustainable fitness habits. So I think the pleasure of introducing her, I would request Dr. Sudhakar sir, our president, to do the honors.
Yeah, good evening to every one of you for joining for this session. I welcome Ms. Soundarya, Animal Flow Level 1 Certified Instructor, Precision Nutrition Certificate, International Youth Conditioning Association Certificate, many certificates to her. And as Dr. Lakshmi mentioned, it's like in urban, 1 in 10 children having obesity. In some cities, it will be even more than that. 1 in 5 children having obesity or overweight. As she rightly mentioned, many times we evaluate the obesity. We give reasons for that. We find out the etiology for that. When management comes, we simply say, you go and do exercise. Most of the time, not all the time, the parents immediately ask what kind of sports activity. Imagine the shrunken urban playgrounds. Where is the playground first of all? We don't have playground in cities. Those days schools should have at least 2 to 3 playgrounds. Nowadays there is no playgrounds for schools. So where even in our residential areas we don't have any playgrounds. But we are simply advising go for sports activity. The roads are not safe. So many restrictions, but still we are keep on advising the children to go for sports activity. So if the right person is the fitness coach with such an experience of 9 years with more than 1,000 children under her care from the Quad, the Specialist Fitness Center, as well as she is a co-founder for a charitable trust called Sishu Sakti, working with children in the Kannagi Nagar. And we are thrilled to hear from you, Ms. Soundarya Madam, about how to suggest the fitness for children with obesity. I welcome Ms. Soundarya to give the talk.
Thank you, sir. So we thought we would make it a little more interesting rather than Soundarya giving a didactic, monotone lecture. So let's just try and have a quick Q&A session just to spruce things up. So,
Yes.
yeah. So the foundation segment of this session. So question 1 to you, Soundarya ma'am. What type of physical activity is the most effective for reducing body fat in children? Is it aerobic exercise? Is it strength training? Or is it a combination of both?
All right. Firstly, thank you so much, Dr. Lakshmi, for having me here. I'm excited to answer these questions. And it's a little bit of an irony that I'm here to talk about this because I was an extremely plump child, and pretty much from my ninth grade up, I've been asked to either lose weight and then do some exercise. And very late, I kind of learned how to go about working on myself and my body. And from there, to having experienced this journey and to be here to talk about a subject very close to my heart, I'm really, really happy to be there. So, first up, best type of activity, especially in kids, there's a lot of things saying you have to do only cardio or aerobic style activity. And then there is another stream of thought which says, oh, you need to go to the gym, you need to lift weights. I would say both. Aerobic, which is some kind of cardio kind of work, is great. Strength training is great. But above all, I would say the best approach to take would be play and fun. At the end of the day, we are working with children. So you cannot just say, okay, like run around the apartment 10 times and that's it. Or you cannot say, go do this gym because I feel this gym is great as a parent. Both approaches don't work. It needs to be a very collaborative effort because it's just not an adult who's taking the decision. A child is going to take that decision. And unless they like the decision, today's kids are not going to stick to it at all. You cannot force them, drag them to a class. I'm a mom of a 14-year-old, so I know exactly how it is if you put them in a class that they don't like. So I would say, yes, aerobic exercises are important. Yes, strength training is important. But if you can bring in the element of play and fun that they enjoy, you take them to a class, try 2, 3 classes before you decide what, by having a conversation with them and respecting their input also. In the end, if they say, I don't like anything, it's okay. Start with something. They will work their way from there.
Okay, so from a medical perspective, I think current evidence also shows that combining aerobic and resistance actually improves insulin sensitivity, reduces visceral fat, and ultimately reflects even in the biochemical lipid profiles in children with obesity. Okay, so the second question to you, what is the minimum amount of daily physical activity that is needed to, one, prevent, and two, manage childhood obesity? So at 2 levels, can you just explain to us?
Absolutely. So this is a very nuanced question in the sense that I can just say 60 minutes is what the World Health Organization recommends and say, yeah, so 60 minutes, get it done. But that is a very, very one-dimensional approach to this, which is not going to help with the child at all. You need to see the starting point of where a child is. If a child is currently not doing any movement, I would say even 10 minutes is a good place to start. Build them to 10 minutes and then to 20 and then to 30. So at the very beginning, if you say, think of yourself even as an adult, right? One fine day you go to the gym and you go do 2 hours, you're going to be sore, you're going to be angry, you're going to be tired. You never want to go back to that place. So find out where your child is. Currently, your child is doing nothing. They are not moving at all. So start with 10 minutes of whatever they can enjoy. It can be playing music, dance, and then move it to a 20, 30, 40. Eventually, an hour would be a great place to be there, but build them up there. Don't just throw them and say, 1 hour, I don't care, you have to do exercise, like how we might do with studies. I don't know, next 2 hours, you're going to go do your homework. Doesn't work with this. You need to build it up slowly so that they don't hate it. They don't start getting annoyed every time you say go exercise. I mean, I remember because I have so many memories from my parents in a very good natured manner without even insulting me, trying to tell me, why don't you go do this? Why don't you go run? No, never works. So gently easing them into short and then eventually increasing them to that 60-minute would be a great approach to take. As always, start from where they are now and build it up from there. This works for whether they are going to maintain or whether they are starting their fat loss journey or wherever they are in their obesity journey.
Okay, see, we understand that 80% of adolescents globally do not meet the recommended 60 minutes of daily physical activity.
At all.
And especially when we say that adolescents need to have at least 3 days per week of vigorous activity or, say muscle strengthening resistance activities at least 3 days per week. Now, for this group of children, what can you advise? So what do you mean by vigorous activity? Can you give examples of the same? And similarly, resistance and muscle strengthening activities, can you give examples of the same?
Absolutely. Super. So if you look at vigorous activity, right? Again, it depends on an individual. Like, let's say I'm taking a class for two different kids. If a kid has never moved before, if I'm going to ask them to even walk 100 meters, it's going to be vigorous. So any kind of vigorous activity means something that is going to challenge them beyond what they have been used to doing, which is their status quo. You have to again start gently. It can be any kind of cardio like cycling, running, swimming, whatever they enjoy. All of it will fall under vigorous activity, especially for someone who has never done anything before. I still remember the first time my dad dragged me to YMCA and said, run one round around the ground. The athletes there were doing it like, oh, this is just a warm up. After this, I'm going to be doing 100 more exercises and doing 2 hours of play. For me, that one round around the ground was extremely vigorous exercise. Forget the second or third round. Then when they said 10 rounds, I said, I'm quitting this and going. So vigorous can mean anything. So the first step of assessing where a child is starting, and then gently, it might start with one round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, all of that is vigorous enough for the child. Now, when it comes to resistance, in our head, we think of gym, heavy weights, muscular bodies, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like strength training essentially means bodybuilding. It is not. Any form of resistance training means something that is actually challenging your body to move. Your own body weight is actually resistance. In fact, it is extremely hard to work with your own body weight. Giving an external load, any form of a kettlebell, dumbbell, or a resistance band, or if they are very obese and they are not able to move comfortably, a gym equipment can also work really, really well for resistance training. It needs to be programmed, it needs to be prescribed. Just like how you're writing, have these medicines 3 times in the morning or after meal, like that, we write a program for a child which is accessible. It could be 3 sets of squats, plank, row, and maybe a push-up. That's it. Keep repeating this for 3 rounds and start there. Gently ease their way from there. So just like how we prescribe medicines, prescribing a program that is written for the child is resistance training. And we need not go heavy at all for children. Starting with body weight, picking something comfortable with good form is a good place to start.
Okay. So as you said, the exercises that you mentioned, or the positions that you mentioned, is there a minimum amount of time that a child is required to do every day?
Absolutely. A 20-minute of strength training is a great starting point, resistance training. And do not have to rush it. Resistance training doesn't need to be like quick, doesn't need to be extremely, doing half reps, none of it. Full range of movement, controlled range of movement, especially in children, right? Their muscles are not fully developed, their bones are still growing. So controlling, slowing them down when they do resistance training is the best thing. When I used to teach kids, all I used to give them, there's only one instruction. Imagine you are in watching Netflix show and you're moving it in a slow speed. You're watching YouTube in slow speed. How would you move? If I tell them do it slowly, it's boring. So if you're watching the Avengers and you're doing it slowly, what would you do? So the minute you slow down and do even 20 minutes of these moves, even 5 reps of each, a squat, a plank, a row, a push-up, it can make a huge difference to a child's overall body composition, how they feel about themselves, and also their confidence in themselves.
Okay, thank you. That was really clear to us. So, we'd be better off explaining to the parents, do these moves, these many number of times for these many minutes a day. Okay, moving on. So what fitness metrics do you rely on beyond the BMI at baseline and then later on, even to monitor progress?
So when it comes to children, right, I would say, like when an adult joins a gym, no, we take certain parameters. How long can they plank? How is their balance like? Where are they at? With a child, especially an obese child, I would say there should only be one parameter I should look at, which is making them start to enjoy exercise and activity. Stop making them look at exercise as a punishment and food as reward. This is something which is very grain, and it's the parents' language which builds this into a child's head. That is, if I exercise, I can eat ice cream. If I do this, I will be given that. So I would say when I assess a child, I'm not even going to go into can they touch their toes? Can they run a kilometer in this much time? Can they do? No. firstly, health parameters that their doctors advise with. Are they supposed to do something? Are they coming in with any specific health concerns, asthma, BP, diabetes, anything like that, which they have in their childhood? Those are the only parameters I would look at. Otherwise, pretty much everybody should move, everybody can exercise. We just have to know what they are walking in with. Don't test a child even when they are starting to exercise by making them do these things, because that's what schools do. So the minute you bring in and say, if you can do 10 squats with perfect form, okay, can you do 1 minute plank? Can you do this? No. Wherever they are, just understand where their health is, from the health perspective, where they are from. Why that is important? Let's say a child says she has asthma and my playground has dust, or the football ground has a lot of dust, and I'm saying go run 3 rounds. She is going to be out of breath. She is going to have a tough time. So that is not something I would want them to do. That is why I need to know their health history. Otherwise, do not put them into any kind of slot saying, how is their balance? How is their testing? Do not test them. Let that be an element of joy, playfulness when they start exercise. It's the best way to initiate them into it.
Okay. So, yes, I understand, this is a very fun way of looking at it, and it doesn't add pressure to the child.
Exactly.
But as a trainer, we expect results. So in general, if you see doctors, we are paranoid about pre and the post intervention changes. We
Yeah.
always look at stats that way. So that way, in your head, if there was a child who's come to you for a program, and is this child doing well? Do I need to, motivate the child a little more? What do you look at? So let me just rephrase the question this way. Do you look at endurance?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying all that. Endurance,
Absolutely.
flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It's
way.
a quad basically. Why are we named as a quad? Because we believe in 4 pillars of fitness. So that's why we are called the quad. So the 4 main things that we always focus on, irrespective, is mobility. That is, mobility basically means how well your joints are moving. So step number 1, mobility. Are your joints moving well? Do they have range of movement? For example, can they touch their toes? Are they able to actually use their joints to the full range of movement? That's the first, mobility. Strength. We will look at how much of weight, not in the question of can they lift the heaviest weight there. Can they handle an external load safely? Are they able to work with their own body weight, which is an external load almost? It is resistance training. So, second most important thing in fitness, I would say strength. Third is endurance. We have a number of ways to test it, not just by saying run 100 meter and I will time you, but endurance, which is the ability of your heart to actually do more work. Are you able to do it? This is extremely important for children, because if you want to play a sport, if you want to be included even in playing games during the interval with your classmates, with your peers, you need to be able to do that. So that is the third. And the fourth one is speed or power. Speed for children, especially like sprinting, running fast, extremely useful skills even for adults, because it is the spring of youth, as we call it. As you age, if you can still maintain speed, if you can still exhibit power, you are setting yourself up for a very, very strong older age. So, to repeat, mobility, strength, endurance, and speed. These are the 4 main components if you look at it from a fitness point of view. So, how would I assess a child? Definitely not like an exam. I will bring it in the play, I will bring it in the sport, I will bring it in the workout that they are doing itself. And at the end of, let's say, even 3 months, if a child is still not able to show even a little bit of improvement, let's say I'm teaching her to deadlift a 3 kg dumbbell. If she is not able to even pick a 5 kg dumbbell, or if she's not able to do a deadlift with 3 kg dumbbell while controlling her limbs, then I will have to look at what more can I give that child. So these are the 4 main parameters, but I will not give it exact numbers like how you might for a BMI or anything like that. I would more say start where they are with these 4 parameters. Can their exercise actually journey help them in these 4 parameters? That will help them to become a strong adult also. That's why.
I think that's the beauty of pediatrics, the general rules don't apply.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, absolutely agree.
Okay, let's move on to exercise prescription advice for pediatricians. See, there is this big clinic reality question. So if a pediatrician has just 30 seconds at the end of a consultation, what are the 3 most important physical activity messages that we should give parents of an obese child? So in other words, in a busy clinic, how can a pediatrician give simple, practical exercise prescription for families?
Awesome. Super. I'm going to break it down into three. This will take not more than 30 seconds for you to give a parent. First one, being action driven and not outcome driven. This is a word I like to use. Being action driven essentially means don't keep harping on this child needs to, my daughter or son needs to lose X kilos. Instead, can you actually look at, are you able to get them to do physical activity every day? So don't look at the outcome, look at the action. What is in your control is action. So step number one, don't push movement with results, encourage movements as a habit, only then it'll stick. Step two, mix it up. Play, strength, skill. Don't be stuck with one. They have to go join this class because another parent said this class is the best in the city. No, your child is an individual who might need specific things which they enjoy. So don't be stuck with one. Play around, especially if they are a younger child, play around until you figure out what they enjoy the most. Play, strength, skill. Keep those three things in mind. Move with them. This is not something parents enjoy listening or hearing because, well, I've come to a doctor, I've come to a coach, you can take care. Well, unfortunately, in adults, it is on the adult to take an action. But when it comes to a child, it is the adult who is going to lead by example. Children copy what they see. You do something, your child is going to follow that. So join them when you can. Don't just talk, but walk the talk with your child. I think these are the three most important things that you should drive home, because unless you do it, or you show them how it is done, they're never going to want to do this. So yeah, these are the three main things I would say.
That's so crisp and concisely put. I think it's a simple lifestyle prescription.
Absolutely.
And family-based interventions are, I think, more successful than programs focusing only on the child.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The next question is, what would a realistic weekly exercise plan look for an overweight child between 6 to 10 years of age?
Okay. Super.
See, children have so many commitments, school, then, the extra classes, dance class, music class, and then tuitions. So a realistic weekly exercise plan working around their regular schedule. How should it look like?
Super. I'm going to share my screen, but before that, I have to say it's much harder for a child to find time during a day to exercise. We as adults think it's very hard to go to the gym, but children have it worse than us. Especially today with school, the amount of homework they need to do, the amount of extracurricular, co-curricular activities they are involved in, the window to exercise becomes very, very less. But if they are between the 6 to 10-year-old age, roughly around that, and if they are overweight, I would say first, their goal is fun plus consistency, not perfection. Okay, at that age, please don't put that pressure on them to do everything perfectly. Between Monday to Friday, here is what you can look at. 30 to 45 minutes of outdoor play that they enjoy. Cycling, tag basically, running and catching, football, whatever game that they like. Get them to play that about 30 to 45 minutes. These 10 to 15 minutes of strength I've written are very simple. Squats 10, wall push-ups or even a plank 10, and animal walks. Why I like putting things like animal walks in children is it's more fun. Walk like a crab, crawl like a bear. This makes it more exciting. I can make it sound like a serious move and say, now you're going to do an inline crawl and work on your contralateral patterning. It sounds boring to me. Whereas if I tell you, you're going to now walk like a crab, can you play tag like a crab? Can you try to move like a crocodile? Can you move like a commando crawl? Those sound more fun because children are by nature very visual, very playful, very fun. Don't make it too serious for them. So even though it's this move, you can make this so much more interesting for them by giving it fun names. So this between Monday to Friday, and why weekend I've written, can you do it with them, is I understand. I'm a working mom too. Monday to Friday is busy. It's not like I don't want to do stuff with my kid, but it is a busy time. But during the weekend, can you make sure that you include some kind of outdoor activity with your child? A walk in the park, playing a game with them, some kind of movement with them, so that they also associate movement as something that they do with their family with a lot of joy and love, and not like a punishment that they alone are forced to do. It shouldn't become that, but it should be something that they look forward to because they get the time with their parents to do something fun. Yeah, so this is roughly an outline of what I say would work.
Okay, that's great. And even I think from a clinical standpoint, what I would like to say is gradual progression is important. And I'm sure you agree with it on, from your perspective as well.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, am I right in saying that obese children, because they have reduced exercise capacity to begin with, joint stress, so start with low impact activities like swimming, cycling, or brisk walking, and then move
Absolutely.
on to, the structured heavy
Absolutely.
duty stuff. Okay.
Absolutely. The only thing with walking, right, sometimes or cycling, it can be boring. Like walking is something you see grandparents do. Your grandparents go for a walk. Now, if you tell an obese 6 or 10-year-old, you are also going to go for a walk, it becomes boring. So you have to make that playful or fun. Either they're going to listen to some kind of music that they like, whether you like it or not, you might have to introduce something to make it more playful and fun, so that they enjoy it, even though it is low impact. And to be very honest, low impact in the gym is very possible because they are machines and they are free.
Okay.
That is, you don't have to take the load on you and move. If I do a leg press machine, it's actually very safe. I'm not putting an external load on myself. So, depending on the age, if they actually like, you can write a very simple gym machine based program, which is actually safe for an obese kid, and it can be very empowering because moving their body weight is very hard. But moving an external weight can make them feel really cool. And how you can break it down to them, like you want to be strong like Hulk, you want to be like Superman, you want to be like one of the Marvel characters, then you want to start doing some form of resistance training. So I think it's how you break it down to them so that it seems more approachable and accessible and not something that is daunting and going to really scar them for life about it.
Understood. Now, should the exercise recommendations differ between younger children and adolescents? Obviously, because developmentally it makes sense. So
Absolutely.
how are you going to address this?
Absolutely. I'll share a simple table. And I remember even when we were extensively coaching children, we used to have separate them into two different batches. I would say around 6 to 10 you should consider in one bracket. Above that, you should consider them differently because they like to be treated differently, even though they're all children. And in your head, you're like, all of you are children. What are you talking about? They are very different individuals after they hit that adolescence. So you need to respect that and treat them that way. So younger kids between 5 and 10, I would say more play based, a lot of running games, whatever they enjoy, tag, whatever the game, structure it in such a manner they get a lot more playtime. Whereas for adolescents, 11 to 17, structured workouts are actually okay. They will start enjoying that structure a little bit more because look at even their curriculum. They start studying in a more structured manner. So similarly, even in exercise, let's say if I tell them now we are going to do 5 sets of 5 reps of these moves, after which you can do a little bit of play. They love that little bit of structure and then little bit of play. So you can start varying a lot more structured work when they are adolescents. Younger kids enjoy short bursts of work. That is, you can't expect. Have you ever seen a 6-year-old sit in one place for an hour? You cannot. You cannot make them. They enjoy doing short bursts of energy. So run, boom, and then they will tire. They will do something, they will tire. So shorter things that they do can work really well. Whereas for an adolescent, you can look at 30 to 45 minutes of exercise. The duration varies. Younger kids, more family driven. Why? Because they still love spending time with their parents. Their friends have not yet become the most important people in their lives yet. So it's a great time to do something as a family together, which is accessible to the child too, and which is something that you should show being there with them. Whereas if you look at adolescents, it's very peer driven. They start looking forward to seeing who else is coming to this class, who else is coming to play. So if they have similar people around their age group around them, it's a lot more exciting or a lot more, the chances of them sticking to the routine are higher. Younger kids know exercise language. Even as a fitness coach, when I teach a plank, I would never tell them get into a plank. It would always be, if I'm going to punch you now, what would you do? Your body automatically tightens, which is basically what a plank is. So give them real examples. And then I say Hulk mode on, Hulk mode off. All of that makes it more fun. If I tell them today we're going to do deadlifts, no. Instead of deadlifts, I always say you're going to imagine that this weight is your school bag. I sometimes used to ask them to bring their school bag and pick it up. Or this is something else. The floor is lava. Make it more exciting than making it sound like a strict curriculum. It works very well. With adolescents, though, they are starting to read more, learn more, exposure to more. So using fitness goals and language actually works much better for them. They want to do push-ups. They want to do pull-ups. They want to, they've heard of biceps. They want to get more defined. They are more used to hearing those terms. So you can start using a little bit more fitness-related terms like strength with them. And then the last important thing, it's the same, honestly, fun and joy. But in adolescence, I also wanted to add connections and inclusivity. Inclusive is very, very important. They want to feel like a part of something. So bring that feeling in them. Younger kids don't really care too much. They are just there. They're all playing. Half the time, they won't even know whether they're playing with each other or just randomly doing their own thing. But whereas when they're a little older, they like being a part of something. They like to think together like a team and actually problem solve together. So I would say this is how you need to approach both the ages, and that's how you need to structure their exercise also.
Your explanation, it just makes so much sense to us, because as doctors, we understand that younger children have shorter attention spans and they develop motor skills actually through play.
Correct.
So
Absolutely.
structured, like you said, structured training is rarely necessary. But
True.
in adolescence, especially during puberty, because of the physiological changes that they go through, the increased muscle mass, improved cardiovascular capacity. So I think they have the greater ability to tolerate structured exercise training.
Absolutely.
So even from a medical standpoint, I think what you said just makes so much sense to us.
Okay. And just one thing to add there,
yes.
My adolescent kids used to love to know what they are lifting today, what they are lifting. You spoke about progression or exact parameters, right? They were very keen on understanding what they are lifting today. What did I deadlift last class? Can I deadlift a little bit more? They like that kind of progress than the younger class. Younger class, we have colorful kettlebells. I used to use the most colorful ones. They used to say, today I'm lifting the blue one, tomorrow pink one. Pink one is bigger than the blue one. That's all. Whereas an adolescent loves to know, oh, I actually managed to deadlift 16 kilos. I managed to deadlift 20 kilos. That's a good kind of measure that they like to enjoy. Just wanted to add that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Now, let's talk about safety and medical considerations. So question 1, is strength training safe? And are there any precautions parents should follow?
Super. So strength training, absolutely safe. I think we become afraid of the word strength training, like I said, because we associate bodybuilding to strength training. We need to understand that bodybuilding is a separate art form, is a separate sport that is practiced, where you have excessive big muscles, looking a certain way, building your, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger is the, immediate example. That is not strength training. We immediately start to worry that, this is not going to be good for my child. No, strength training actually done right can be extremely beneficial for a child. It is safe if it is body weight or it is a light enough resistance. What I mean by light enough resistance is children can lift weights, but you just want to make sure that the weights that they are lifting are not beyond what they can currently handle. You spoke about progressive. That is what we follow in exercise also. You don't just start with the heaviest weight, you start with a comfortable light weight and see how they do. It should be supervised. A coach should be watching them. Do not let them do YouTube works. Like they love following some YouTuber, some Instagrammer who'll say, I want to do this. Do not let them get into that. Supervised strength training is super beneficial. Focus on technique, not on the load. That is, making sure they're doing the movements well, but not caring too much about what is the weight that they're currently lifting. So unless they do something flawlessly, you won't give them a weight. So that is the kind of structure that you want to follow when they are lifting weights. Avoid heavy lifting. Why heavy lifting? Their body is still, they're not still sure of their limbs. It's not because they're going to hurt themselves. A lot of times they're in the process of growth. So they might not follow the safe techniques when they are lifting. In fact, I've observed younger girls are more stable than younger boys. Boys in the adolescent are still wobbly and all over. Girls tend to actually start to get stronger at that age and are able to handle loads better. So don't go too heavy. Keep it moderate, keep it comfortable. What you want to see is good form. No max effort training. What does max effort training mean? Lifting the heaviest or checking what is the heaviest that you can lift. Don't go into that at all. We are not here to test what's the maximum they can lift. We are here to give them better health. Unsupervised work, like I said, always watched by someone who knows good form and who can work with the kid, because it is possible to hurt yourself if you're not being watched by somebody. So that is basically what you would like to keep in mind with safety. But strength training, resistance training in any form is safe. And like I mentioned earlier, somebody who's overweight, a weight is very empowering. Like even for me, for example, when I was an overweight kid, and I started going to the gym sometime in college. I was like 17, 18. I felt very empowered because I used to find it hard to run with my own body or do something with my own body. But you give me something, I'm able to move that load much better. So then I build confidence. And then you will automatically like exercise because, well, you are seeing results, you are being good at something. And then slowly you will be able to do more. So do not shun them from resistance training at all. It is extremely useful. Don't get scared by the word.
Okay. Now, how do you modify exercise in obese children with comorbidities, say a wheezer or, somebody who is pre-diabetic or has actually joint pain, is symptomatic with stressed joints?
Super. So two things. The first one, let's say like they have asthma, wheezing. I would say firstly, longer warm up. A longer warm up itself will kind of tell us where the child is. Okay, we will know how much to push. So ensure that they are warmed up enough so that they are able to gently up what they are doing. Don't jump into cardio or competitive sports, especially things like football require short bursts of energy with interval training, like sprint training. So if you know that the child has asthma, do not go enroll them in a football class. It's not going to help. An individual sport like maybe a badminton or something might still be accessible to a child with asthma than something which is involving a team and which is extremely high impact. Progressive work overload can help a lot. What is progressive overload? What I spoke at the very beginning. 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever. Start at one time, gently increasing so that their lung capacity is able to adapt. Day one, you tell them what you're going to tell somebody without these concerns. They are going to feel like a complete loser, like a failure in day one itself, because they'll be gasping for breath. They will hate the exercise. They will definitely not look forward to coming back there because it's making them feel so crappy. Why would they want to go back and do something to themselves? So, swimming is also another important aspect you can look at if asthma is something which they are struggling with. Insulin resistance, I would say prioritizing daily movement, that is making sure that the child is moving. Strength training is especially proven to be extremely helpful, and HIIT is basically high interval intensity training. It's a buzzword nowadays in fitness, but without overthinking it, I want to think of putting in a lot more efforts for short periods of time. That can also help with this. Specific studies have proven that these forms of exercise can help with insulin resistance. Next comes joint pain, low impact. Cycling, swimming, I would say, but using external loads and gym machine. I spoke about how, let's say, somebody is doing a free weight squat, going up and down. Lot more joints are involved. Whereas if I'm in a gym and I'm pressing a machine, I am still strengthening my legs, but without overstressing my joints. So if someone has excessive joint pain because of the stress the load is placing on their joints, starting with such kind of machine work and reducing their range of movement. Don't go full deep. If you're going to go full deep on the squat, they might not be able to stand back up by themselves. Their knees or their other joints might not be able to bear their weight. Then automatically they're going to be scarred for life, or they'll be thinking, oh, I'm never going to do this because it's going to cause me pain. So instead, finding these small modifications can make a huge difference in how a child feels and feeling a lot more empowered to take on exercise.
Okay. Let's speak a little bit about behavior change and motivation. So there's this myth busting question, always. Many parents believe that diet is far more important than exercise for weight loss. So in childhood obesity, from your angle as a fitness coach, compare physical activity and dietary change.
So if you want to actually see changes in your body weight, it is the dietary changes that is going to make a big difference, which is going to have scale is going to tip in that favor. Why? Because energy in, energy out. What is the energy in? That is food. Energy out is the exercise. No matter how much energy out or exercise we do, we can never compare it with the energy in. And our human brains, especially, are wired to always overestimate what workouts we do and underestimate what we eat. Okay, we have a habit. We'll do a 5K run and we'll be like, Sangeeta, dosai plus that, because bloody hell, I've done a 5K run. It's been so exhausting. So I deserve this. So this is how even an adult thinks. So now how do you actually look at for a child? Don't try and connect both as one on top of the other. Exactly what I spoke at the very beginning, where I said, exercise is not your punishment. Food is not your reward. Exercise is essential for healthy living, for them to actually be a self sufficient adult who can take care of themselves. And that is the most important role as a parent, to make them self sufficient adults, to make sure they grow up into a healthy human being. And that is what you need to really, really keep emphasizing with exercise. Don't tie it with you run, you will lose weight. You do this, you will lose weight. Don't tie this outcome to what their actions are. Eating well will, or working on their nutrition is going to help them see bodily changes. But what is the use of that if they are not able to be capable individuals who can move their body well, who are strong? So I would say, though the brass tacks of the outcome of weight loss will happen if you eat lesser. This is just science, or this is just thermodynamics. We are not going to go into that with a child, definitely. Because when you start talking to a child like this, you are creating a very unhealthy relationship with your body and with exercise. They will start to look at their bodies, they will start to look at their exercise, they will start to look at food as good, bad. So, which means eating something will make them feel guilty, not doing something will make them feel guilty. Why are we associating morality with food and exercise? These are all things we need to do for our own health, for us to be stronger. So, do not get caught up in this is good, that is bad, clean eating, dirty eating. No. So, exercise so that you are bringing up a strong, wonderful individual who can lead a good life as an adult. Eat better so that their health gets better. And if they are especially battling with obesity, it becomes critical that they really focus on that. But it's the way you take it to them, making them feel like blaming them, or saying you have to do this, otherwise this will happen, or you have to not do this, or this is going to happen. That should not ever work with a child. You do not want to set them up to be adults who are going to forever second guess their body and food. Don't put them through that.
The exact purpose of the question was this, to spark this discussion on, energy balance, metabolic health, behavior change. And we pediatricians debate about this really, really often. Now, okay, there's a part 2 to this question, which I would like to ask.
Yeah.
What are the common mistakes that you see, the mistakes that parents make when trying to help an obese child lose weight?
I have to start with a disclaimer, especially as a parent. Okay, parents want to do the best for their child, no doubt. I think we need to first give parents a little bit of kindness and credit also, because they are trying very, very hard to do what they can do best. The first biggest mistake is forcing them to join something. Forcing them to do something rather than sitting down, talking to them, and showing the benefits of what it can do to them. I understand if a child is extremely small, like a 6-7-year-old, then you will have to kind of show them only what needs to be done. But the biggest thing I would say is pushing and forcing them into something that they are not ready for. Instead, sit down and have a conversation. You'll be surprised at how reasonable a child can be when you actually spend that time to speak to them and talk to them and frame it to them in a manner in which it is accessible to them. So I would say that is because I've had so many parents who bring their kids to a quad class, an adult class, and say, my child needs this, enroll them. I'm like, no, don't pay. Do not pay a penny until I have at least 2 to 3 classes with the child to understand if they're enjoying it. You think you have outsourced and it's out of your head. You have done right for your child by enrolling them into that class. But if they're not going to like the class, it's a useless thing and waste of money that you're doing. So step number 1, do not force them into something. Step number 2, language is very, very, very important. The words that you use with your child can make or break their future relationship with their body and how they view themselves. And we live in a cruel world. Sometimes I'm so grateful that I'm old, And I didn't have to grow up with social media and the internet constantly, sending me reels on how six packs are, bikini bodies are, how beautiful I should look as a woman, what is the right size 0. I grew up knowing none of this. Kids today are not growing up, they already have enough pressures they face. So be very careful with your language, not even in passing when you're discussing with your spouse. Don't say things that you know are going to be hurtful or which are going to affect them in a manner in which they're going to turn away from exercise and food. Just these two, it might seem like very small things, but I think they make a huge impact in how they start viewing their body with more joy, with a little bit more confidence, because it's a cruel, brutal world we live in today, especially for children as they are growing. It's hard. So, want to make it a little easier for them. So, these two things, if you can keep in mind, I think you will build a much better relationship with your child. B, they will get into the path that they want you to do just by these two things.
Okay. Well said. Well said. And see, from the previous conversation, we are very clear about one thing that you said, that parental modeling is extremely powerful. And
Yes.
you've spoken about how, parents should also move with the child. Now, here comes the motivation question. What is the single most effective strategy you've seen that actually gets reluctant, overweight children to enjoy physical activity? Apart from, whatever you've said earlier.
So, first thing, finding out what they like to do. Okay, each child is very, very different. Some like to dance, some like to cycle, some like to go to gymnastics. I don't know, it can be anything. So, firstly, finding out and making sure you pick something they find joy with is very important. To lead from the front. You are the captain of the ship as a parent, whether you like it or not. I cannot be spending hours on my phone and then telling my kid, hey, switch off the TV. Why are you sitting on your phone? My teenager will look at me and be like, what are you doing all day? You're also doing the same thing. A younger child will not hesitate to give it back to you today. So, you show them that you are actually caring about your physical health and well being, and I think a child will follow. The example you set at home is extremely critical. I cannot be sitting on the couch the whole day eating chips and having Pepsi and watching TV and then tell my child, go run. It's very important that you do physical exercise. They're going to be, what are you doing? You're an adult, you should know better. You're not doing it. Why are you asking me to do it? So I feel being that person who shows the child how exactly you need to prioritize these things is very, very important. So
Okay.
that behavior from the parents is going to make a huge difference.
Okay. And coming to practical lifestyle solutions, see, we live in a concrete jungle.
Of course.
For families living in apartments, limited spaces, what indoor physical activities can children do regularly, apart from, of course, reducing sedentary time?
Super. So a couple of fun things I discovered actually during the COVID. Okay, the pandemic was awful, but one thing we had to be was creative in our own houses. How else can we move? Like I cannot just be sitting all through the day. As a adult, I was doing my exercises. I had some weights with me, so I was obviously doing my exercises. But for the child, you can bring in a lot of play. You can invest in small equipment, nothing big. Skipping rope, some light dumbbells, 2 kg, 3 kg, very empowering it can feel. Put a YouTube dance video, follow along. Just play their favorite music, dance with them. That is more activity than anything. Walk around your apartment. You can play catch with them. This direction I will go, that direction you will follow me. Or from here to there, from this car to that car I will run, then you will then chase me. As simple as that. Time them from that distance. Within my own house, the things I used to do was I used to arrange chairs and tables, couple of furniture, climb over them, go under them. Small things that you can make your house fun. You remember, when we were all very young, we didn't have these kind of playgrounds and stuff. We used to walk in a line. You see any thin border, we used to walk in that. We used to say from here to there, I should jump without touching that. All of that is exercise. That is balance walking. Jumping from one point to the other and landing where you want to land is what we call as precision jumping, which is a hard move to do. All of this you can actually set up within your own home. A skipping rope is available on your Instamart. It will reach you in 5 minutes. All of these are very, very small things that you can do. YouTube music, dance, or YouTube even follow along simple body weight exercises for kids. So many people have so many free resources, excellent body weight, fun workouts for just children. You can play it on YouTube and their child can just follow that also. Even that is a great place to start, I feel. I mean, I can recommend so many like Jordan Syed, so many of the fitness guys across the globe doing some really cool fitness content for just children to follow free from YouTube. So in your own apartment, no problem at all. You can sit inside and do it. Parents don't have to get creative even, and kids love following something from a screen anyway.
Okay. Okay. Beyond weight loss,
Hmm.
what non-scale benefits should families watch for when children become more active?
Absolutely. And this is the most important thing. Okay. If you tie their self worth to weight loss, right, for life, they are going to look at the weighing machine as a self worth tool. Like if I weigh X kilos only, I am worthy individual. Trust me, I've had enough trauma in my childhood because, that health checkup, they'll come for school. They'll come and you'll all stand in a line. They'll make you stand on the weighing scale and then they'll loudly yell your weight. 65, go. 70, go. Like that. I used to hate it because I used to associate that number with who I am. And if the number is obviously higher than all my classmates, I used to feel awful. So please don't use the scale as the only form of measure for your child. Yes, I know obesity is a serious problem and you have to weigh the scale. But when you look at your child, look at these parameters: better energy. Are they able to perform their daily tasks as a child with better energy? Are they involving themselves in more play? Are they going out to actually do a little bit more activities than they are? How is their mood? Exercise actually releases hormones which can obviously elevate your mood. So if they enjoy what they are doing, they will be a lot more cheerful, a lot more happy. Are they more confident about themselves? It is hard, like I said, being a teen or a child in today's world, but exercise can actually increase your sense of self-worth and self-respect. If you see your child being given a little bit more confident wearing clothes that they were previously not, that's a great sign. And the other obvious things, like their clothes might fit them a little better. Like it might not be something on the scale, but the way the clothes fit them today might feel a lot better. And you want to, as a parent, observe these and appreciate these. Let's say previously you go on a family holiday and you make them walk X number of steps, they might have been very exhausted. Now they are able to actually keep up with you for most parts. That's great progress. So watch out for better energy, better mood, better involvement in play. And honestly, this will also help them to perform better in school, even in education. Something we don't actually tie together. But when you focus on your body, when you actually work on your body, you can actually focus better in your studies also. So it is very much tied together. So I would say, look at these. Don't just applaud scale victories, then they will start associating their self-worth to the scale. So only if every week, if I don't see 2 kilo loss, my mother is not going to say very good. Then that means I will do anything to somehow lose 2 kilos because I want my mother's approval. Believe it or not, children still want a parental approval no matter what. So don't start only applauding that. Look for other sides. You're on mute. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So all your answers have been like blitzy.
Okay.
And I think the best way to wind up this session will be with a rapid fire. So I have a few questions for you. Just, maybe five rapid fire questions.
Sure.
See, all of us adults, we are obsessed with steps. All of us have a smart watch integrated to our phones. And then we are so crazy about how many steps we did in a day. Question 1, rapid fire. Just 10 seconds, within 10 seconds answer. Best daily step goal for children?
Nothing. Just let them move. Don't give them a number to work and chase.
Okay. Are sports better than gym workouts for obese kids?
Depends and no. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. Depending on the level of obesity, gym might actually work better than sports if a child is extremely obese. It might build their confidence and then sports might be the path they need to take. putting them directly in sports might actually make them feel even worse because they will not be selected for anything. They'll be the slowest member. So I would say sometimes gym might work in their favor more than sport. But play around with both, and when gym helps, get into sports. Sorry,
Okay.
not 10 seconds, but I can't just pick one. Both have its benefits here.
No,
So
this is a googly, so
yeah,
okay.
thank you.
Is walking alone enough for weight reduction?
For a child, I would say it's good, but no, not just enough. Other forms
Okay.
of training are essential.
Okay. Morning versus evening exercise, does it really matter?
No, doesn't matter at all. Do what works for you. Whatever helps you be consistent, that's what is going to matter the most.
Okay. How many days per week should children engage in structured physical activity?
Structured, I would say if they are between like teens, at least 4 days will be great. If they are younger kids, 2 to 3 days of structured and followed by play will be great.
Okay. So
Awesome.
I think that brings me to the end of this
Awesome.
session. I think it's the first time we've had someone like Soundarya in our forum. Otherwise, it's
Okay.
usually doctors speaking to doctors and doctors
Okay.
speaking for doctors. So the floor is open. Does anybody have anything to say? I think everybody is all smiles.
Okay.
I mean, the cameras are not on, but I'm pretty sure everybody is smiling.
I hope so.
We really
Thank you. Thank you.
enjoyed this session.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here. Like I said, from personal experience, when I told my mom I'm doing this, she's like, I'm so happy. Like it feels like life has come a full circle because they used to really want me to exercise and move as a child. But as an adult, they felt like it's really nice that I've come to a place where I'm so much more confident in my body. And I believe in exercise so much that I'm able to speak about this with a bunch of doctors. I was initially very scared, but you all have been amazing doctors. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Soundarya. May I request our President Sudhakar sir to say a few words?
Yeah, very, very nice and very different. Also, it falls on our expectations. I know when Lakshmi introduced about you and we had a discussion about whom to select, and when she talked about you, I thought you'll be the right person. For any successful and interesting interview, the interview's questions also should be very simple.
Agree.
Where it should be. The quality of the questions posed are really exceptional, thoughtful, precise also, and stimulating for us. And of course, I'm sure it elevates the entire session also. And I essentially appreciate Soundarya madam for addressing every query with such a clarity, patience, and scientific insight. That's very important. I'm a developmental pediatrician, so I see the whole program is not on the fitness approach. It is a mental, it's not only on the physical health. You combine the mental health and physical health, which is very essential, especially when it comes to an adolescent, already in a confused state. Lot of self ideas. They don't know, well, they have a discussion only among their peer group who don't have much idea about all these things. Lot of advices from the influencers. It is filled with marketing people. Those who want to say, everybody wants to sell their product through the Instagram. So these children are easily attracted that, and at this age, every adolescent will believe everything they come in an attractive way. It's a package. It's wrapped with an attractive wrapper. Yes, they started believing in that. So you address everything in a way, and your ability to engage with medical perspective and well informed responses really commendable, and highly appreciate your thoughtful and comprehensive response to all our queries. All the balls you batted, all the balls thrown by our bowler Dr. Lakshmi. Really, your expertise add great value for our pediatric care and pediatric practice. Of course, I'm very sure that this is not going to be an end. It is just an introduction for pediatrician like us, how to go with it, physical health or obesity care with children. Let it make it as a president, I announce that here. Let it be a start. We have our own program to address the school children that is going to be called CALM. We will involve this program into this. We'll integrate, if you are available, we will integrate your physical health into our program, which is child and adolescent mental health program. So we understand that this is also physical health is integrated with mental health.
Absolutely.
It's a part of this thing actually. So Once again, on behalf of Indian Academy of Pediatrics, Chennai City Branch, I thank you for sparing your time and sharing your knowledge. Really, really very appreciable. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. My pleasure.
Soundarya, there's a question, I think, for you. Lakshmi Shanti ma'am, she's raised her hand.
Sure, please.
Yeah, this is Dr. Lakshmi from Coimbatore.
Hello.
It was a wonderful session, Soundarya, and congrats to the Chennai City branch, Lakshmi and Sudhagar. Nice to see you all. I just wanted to know about this. What's your take on this VO2 Max in the smartwatch display? So it shows that how much aerobic we do. Does it apply to children as well?
As of now, I don't think we should be looking at, especially if they're obese, I don't think we should be looking at their VO2 max output initially. It is extremely important, maybe for a more elite sport level playing person to actually get that checked out or wear a smartwatch to check it. But for if you're working with the general population or kids who are just trying to live a more healthy lifestyle, I don't think we should get caught up in that yet. Unless they have some specific health concern you want to address and you want to get it checked out. But in all honesty, for regular children, I don't think we need to even get into that.
Okay, thank you. So it helps sports people.
Yeah, so if you are like, let's say, playing professional football or something, they might want you to test to see where it is. So then on the field, they can see how to push you to do more, less, or what is your range to work with. But for the general population, I don't think we need to get caught up in that.
So I would say that on the whole, high intensity workouts are not advisable for adolescents and children. Am I right?
So very high intensity, not really needed. It can come like in play, let's say when they are playing, running and catching and they're running at full speed, that's okay. But you don't need to prescribe and give them at a HR of heart rate of this, you need to do this. Don't need to go into that for children.
And finally, the word playful, funful.
Yeah.
Adolescents, we also have to be careful by not labeling them obese or something like that, because
absolutely.
Body image issues are very common. So
yes, and undoing them takes years. So especially because of the world they live in, it was pretty easy for me. Honestly speaking, I never felt that way through my growing up, though I was, I guess, borderline obese maybe, but never felt that way because my school, nobody commented too much on it. I had a very happy time. But I have the shudders. If I was in today's world, a child with that weight I used to have, I'm afraid how what a time I would have had. It would have been very tough to survive.
Too much of body shaming and bullying happening.
Absolutely, yes. And that's where I think adults have to become vocal about not using that kind of language or being a supportive person for their children.
Jalil sir, would you like to say something, sir?
I think this is one of the unique presentation. I thought that he's going to give some presentation like a regular presentation like, but I request the IAP Chennai branch, what are all Madam Soundarya Madam has mentioned, you can make a short notes or pamphlet like that. So all the messages are very cryptic messages and new messages for us also. So let you compile these messages and put it in the group so that it will be useful for even for advice for the parents also from our side.
Sure, sir.
That is a very this thing.
Your points are well taken. So it's a good idea to come out with recommendations from the IAP Chennai along with Ms. Soundarya. We can share with people.
Madam has mentioned the age wise also, less than 5 years, 11 to 6, 7 years, and the player driven, like that. The words are all very new to us. So please compile the messages and put it in the group so that we will make use in our practice.
Sure, sir.
Okay, so with that, we come to an end of this session, Move to Improve. I think we are thanking our stars because Soundarya agreed to this, and this video will be available on our official IAP Chennai City branch YouTube channel. We will disseminate the link to all our official WhatsApp groups as well. And for those who missed it, this is a wonderful session, and I'm sure people would love it. And this is going to be viral in no time. It was an excellent session, Soundarya. All of us are wiser, much more practical. And what a better way to commemorate World Obesity Day. With someone like Soundarya who walks the talk and who has transformed the lives of several people, and her own life is a transformative journey by itself. So I think, thank you, Soundarya. Thanks to our President, Sudhakar sir, our Treasurer, Anandi ma'am, the all supportive EB members, and of course, the august audience who have joined us today on Zoom and the YouTube live stream as well. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Until we meet again with the other programs planned for this month, this is the Chennai City branch signing off. Thank you so much and good evening, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you